Hey Libra, what's going on? We're here with a reading for you. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is shiny new opportunity, and there being so very much potential behind it. Ten of Swords though? Did something feel like there was like a lot of potential and possibility, and then that thing came to an end? Where that's not going to be a thing anymore? You know, Ace of Wands, when you look at it, it's like, if you water this thing, it can really grow, but then Ten of Swords can be a moment where it can be like it was sort of ended too soon, or like before I could even see the potential of something, it closed out. That's what it can be. It almost feels like there being like this can feel in a way like you're being teased almost. I get that energy of like, here's this thing, and if you give it what it needs, it can really grow. And then the Ten of Swords being here is like, never mind, that's not an option anymore. And then where do you go from there? So yeah, you can feel like, I even get the feeling of being like, it almost feels like it's been taken away from you. Something that there was a lot of potential within. To have then Nine of Wands, it's like when you go through something like that, what do you do then? Because Ace of Wands can be like, I have so much hope for the potential of this thing. And Ten of Swords is that moment when things sort of come crashing down. And it's like, why did that even like appear to me or become available if I couldn't even use it or do anything with it? And you can feel like your hope really gets dashed in that moment. And so how do you continue when you have a moment like that? When you find yourself in a situation like that? You can feel like you're at the bottom of some very steep stairs that you have to walk up. Just tiring, very tiring. But attaining what you're looking for is possible. With the Nine of Wands, I'm seeing this be like, after you have this situation present itself where it's like, this can really be anything, you know, and then Ten of Swords is like, never mind, not an option anymore. You're sort of at the bottom here, and you have to walk up the next step and the next step and the next step, and it can feel like a tiring process. But I'm seeing when you get to the top of this, having the moon up there feels like I'm connected with a part of myself that feels very lit up internally. And I feel like the Ten of Cups just reinforces that, of like when you get to the top of this and you connect internally, and this can be like, I'm connecting emotionally, I'm connecting intuitively, I'm connected with what I need to feel a sense of fulfillment, comfort, ease, like I'm in the right place, peace. That is what's going to be achieved. So even though this can feel, I see this as being a temporary drawback that you're experiencing, where it can feel like something was gone too soon and that you didn't have time to explore the way that you wanted to, and now it's over. Having no other option than to move forward, even though you can know that it's going to be like really heavy moving forward, but it kind of feels like with each step it gets a little bit lighter. So it's like heaviest at the bottom, and as you get further to the top, like the gravity or like just the karmic weight sort of lessens on you. And then you ultimately reach the Ten of Cups, which is feeling like, wow, I moved through that and I'm feeling actually amazing. But Ten of Swords, you may not be feeling amazing, but by the time you get like up the stairs, you are going to be feeling amazing. I feel like this is too a reminder for you to like keep hope and to not lose hope, because the Ten of Cups will be definitely worth it for you to keep going, especially during a time that can feel very difficult. Like you are doing this for you. You're doing this for the pursuit of your, you know, your peace, your joy, your happiness, your fulfillment, to feel good about things. Like it's how it's supposed to be. Oh yeah. Ace of Wands and Three of Swords. This can be like, oh gosh, this is such a difficult energy to work with, because it can feel like the thing that motivated you and was giving you hope, now what it has grown within you, like the hope is gone and it's just like manifesting pain within you, can be the feeling of this. And like the loss that's involved in this, the pain, the loss, like that cycle is closed out now. There's no more going back into it. This can be a time where you really dig deeply, because you can feel just with regular logic this isn't something that you're going to be able to work through. And so this can be a time where you're getting deeper into like your spirituality or like your psychology, your wellness, things like that, because of how like more than this just being utterly disappointing, it's like I'm seeing it be painful. As I said before, I'm seeing the hope that you have of something, of like this can really be something, being replaced by pain, and like having to then take that apart while you don't really have access to go back into the cycle any longer, and having to work with a part of you that's like that deeper part of you that's going to have wisdom about this, when it may be hard to see past just how much this hurts. But once you do see through the pain, you do find the truth. You find the clarity. It's like the rain washes down and clears all of the fogginess away. I see you walking out of this very focused, very clear on where you are emotionally, in a space where you reach for the truth. Like lean towards that. After something closes out, I'm seeing there be clarity like directly after. I wonder too if the clarity is about understanding something and why it had to happen that way. Like once you get through this really hurts, there can be a looking into it, like why did this happen, like what was going on, and you actually being able to find those answers. Very much I'm seeing like this was an opportunity that was meant to bring you closer to the truth, like to your own truth. And even though you can feel like this is a big struggle emotionally more than anything, like on an internal level, at the same time you can feel like you have a type of clarity that you did not have before, that this like made available for you. Like there's a truth that you're carrying now that you could feel you weren't so much carrying before. And now it actually gives you the opportunity to reach the 10 of Cups when that was not so much a possibility before, not with the way that things were going. I'm getting you still making sense of things. Like, because of this being a painful cycle among other things, like this cycle was also other things for you, yeah? You can be like, yes, in certain ways it did benefit me. In other ways, it's really hard for me to see beyond just the pain of what I've experienced. Trying to wrap my head around everything here. I'm seeing there still be mixed feelings that you're working through, where there can be a part of you that's trying to figure out just a lot of stuff. And you can feel at times like what you're working through doesn't allow you to see sort of the other end of the tunnel as you're moving through it. But I'm definitely seeing something be there on the other side, and it will be worth the journey, worth the travel for you. And I think also too, something that you can be realizing is that you don't just have one thing that can make you happy too. There are many different things that can lead you to the 10 of Cups, which can feel very satisfactory and very aligned for you on an internal level. But the part of you that may have looked at something and been like, this is the be all end all, it can be like sort of perplexed when that thing is no longer an option anymore, and having to work through that and understand actually the grace that this has given you. Trying to make sense of it all, just trying to figure it out. You can feel like you're a little bit split on this. I'm seeing there be like a joyful side and a feeling of peace, and then I'm seeing the other side feel like the opposite of that. Like every time I just even focus on that for a second, I'm wincing, like that feeling of something sort of you being maybe feel split in two here, because you're still processing. This is still something that's going on. Even though a situation may be over with, you're still processing the after effects of it. And it feels too like wielding the truth and moving with that can be the most challenging thing of all here. And you can also look at this too and be like, this feels like a huge karmic test that I've been moving through emotionally more than anything. This has to do with your water energy. I do feel though that when you were in something, you may not have been able to see it clearly, and then when you're out of it, you have the opportunity to actually see things clearly that you were not seeing before. In general, I'm seeing this be one of those processes that can feel like, from an internal standpoint, like energetically and emotionally, you can feel like this is one of the most difficult things that you've gone through, that you will go through. Like it's definitely up there, like it ranks up there with the most difficult things, for sure. And it's difficult too to sort of process your feelings about all of this as well. I'm seeing that part feel challenging simultaneously, and to actually be able to sort of like be willing to withstand the pain when it can feel so overwhelming and hard to digest, in order to see things from like the one true perspective, so you can gain closure and insight about this. Because if you're at a point where you're so stuck in your feelings about this, which there's nothing wrong with having your feelings about it, but if you get to the point where you're like, okay, this is too much, I'm gonna shut down my heart space now, there will be a lack of you being able to sort of feel your way through the rest of this. But sometimes we need to do that in order to be able to bear the weight of something, because it feels like too much, and it's like the only way we can survive through it. But remember that if you do that, to like open the heart space back up again when you're able and willing to withstand this, so you can finish processing through. Leaning towards the truth rather than further confusion. You may also feel too that this is something to work out mentally more than anything. And even though there is emotional stuff, I'm seeing a lot of there be a really big focus on figuring things out from a mental standpoint, like making sense of it. And you can feel like the more you lean into the emotional side of things, the more confusing it can get. And so you can be leaning into more of a cerebral energy just to figure some stuff out. And now you're sort of on your own, I'm seeing. I'm getting this feel even like a baby King of Wands here. A baby King of Wands is you being like sort of put in the driver's seat, and you have to figure out how that works now. I'm definitely seeing there be support that you have, where it's like, okay, like it's time to see you fly and see you do your own thing. But at the same time, you can feel like I've just been put in the driver's seat. And although I know that this is now like something that I have to do, I'm still very much figuring this out. I'm figuring out like how the pedal works, how the shift works, you know, like how the wipers work. It's like that whole thing. I see too this notion of you, like this is for the sake of union and for you to integrate parts of yourself. This King of Wands is feeling like a part of yourself that you had not integrated, and that this gives you the opportunity to do exactly that. When we have parts of ourselves that are unintegrated, we tend to we tend to get in cycles with other people that sort of represent one of those parts, and we play the other role. And even though there can be different people, it's like the same themes that end up occurring. And it's something that we're working out within ourselves, and can do it like through the means of relationships with other people. So you may have been like attracting the same sort of interpersonal situation again and again, and it was really a call for you to work something out within yourself. Meaning you could have found yourself around people that would maybe be telling you what to do, you know, like giving you heavy-handed guidance when you're in the driver's seat and it's your turn to drive, sort of picking you up and putting you in the passenger seat and being like, nope, I'll do it, you know, like that type of thing. But it feels like this is now an opportunity for you to express yourself within that energy, where it's like you're the only one in the car now. You have to figure out how to drive it. You can be looking around like, I've never done this before. I've never had to do this before. But it's going to like unite you with a part of yourself that you may have been feeling quite distant from, actually, but not realized it because you had somebody standing in, or like other people standing in to play that role. And so that can also breed attachment with other people, because you're like, you give me access to that part of myself, and so that part of myself that I'm not sort of generating within myself, that I'm not nurturing within myself, you are the symbol for that for me, and so I feel very close to you, like that type of thing. So things of that nature can be what has sort of been occurring, what had been manifesting. So it's an opportunity to come closer with that part of yourself, to nurture that part of yourself, to integrate that part of yourself. And for some of you too, you're going to be forming a sense of like community around you. A reconciliation with that part of yourself. But it also looks too like there may be some support and some friendship and stuff like that that's involved in this, or things that even feel deeper. Taking a chance. Working through things. I wonder too, now I'm seeing something else going on within the reading. You could have found yourself in a situation with someone and felt like before you got to see what it would really turn into, things came to an end, and that could have felt really challenging for you, but you had to like find your own happiness, you know, like sort of away from this person, and process the pain and see like what was the purpose of this, why did this happen, and like had to understand that and work through things emotionally with yourself. And then what I'm seeing in this bottom row is that for some of you, you may be like making up. It feels like some of you may be making up with this person actually, and taking a risk and maybe seeing what happens with them. But it would be different this time, because it feels like instead of looking at them and being like, I need you because you give me access to the part of myself that I'm like not nurturing within myself, you sort of had to do that yourself at this point. And so now having somebody around, it will be more so like having this person from a place of connection rather than necessity. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing is going on. All right, my friends, we are going to leave this reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.